guys, it's Len. Welcome back to the channel and Happy New Year. It's 2025 and this is the first video I wanted to record and upload for this new year, and you can guess it is all about my 2025 vision board. Now, to be honest, I've been familiar with the concept of the vision board for the past over 4 years, I would say. And I mean, it has been around forever. I mean, for sure, much longer than that. But when I started familiarizing with this concept, I remember it was still kind of a niche one. There were some people and maybe some channels as well here on the platform which would, talk about it. For instance, I mean, for sure, on the Lavender channel, through Lavender, it was the first time for me to actually deciding on doing a vision board. But still, it was still kind of a niche thing or activity, if you want. But this year, you guys, I feel like this concept of the vision board has exploded. It is all around the internet. It is all around the social media. Like, it's everywhere. Newsletters on TikTok, of course, Instagram, everywhere. Maybe even more, at least for the type of content I consume, this concept of the vision board is maybe even more discussed than the typical, year review, in this case, a 2024 review, which was such a trending topic throughout the past bunch of years. But now I feel like everyone is projected onto what is to come, the vision, in this case. So I wanted to share with you my own approach to the vision board. To be honest, I'm not here to tell you what to do, how to do it. I want to simply kind of share with you my own vision board and the thing I want to focus on, the things I want to focus on. And to be honest, I am still putting together my 2025 vision board. But I thought that to do so, it would have been great for me to look back at the 2024 board and share with you how it worked for me. First of all, let me tell you a few things. Instead of a vision board, last year in particular, I chose to call it a mood board, which I know it is a completely other thing. Maybe people use mood boards linked to specific projects, but for me it works as a constant narration or storytelling of the year as I go through it, of my life as I live it. And to be honest, it really helped me to have a better and a healthier approach to this concept of the board. Because, do not take me wrong, I do like this idea to transmute a vision into a version, like a vision as a guide to follow through intuition into an actual version of reality, of a life to live, of who I am in this case, and so to act upon intention and initiative to transmute, as I mentioned, such vision into a version of reality. So I do like this concept, but I mean, I am such a visual person, and to link my vision to material stuff, concrete stuff alone, for me, it is not good or great, because it limits me a lot. It conditions me a lot. I am such a visual person in terms of inspiration, imagination. So I want to link my vision to what nurtures my inspiration, my imagination, what expands me. And expansion is probably the word I chose, not for the entire year. I tend to work with seasons instead of the entire year. Also because at the end of the day, I mean, for sure, the passage from one year to another, it is some sort of an astral portal, but it is also a convention, a human convention. So I rather focus on my own seasons, the seasons I go through, and expansion is for sure a topic for my current season. And expansion to me happens through imagination, inspiration. And this is what I want to link my vision to. And instead of vision, I prefer to use the word mood, because I feel like it can touch upon multiple areas of my life, the life I live. I feel like it permeates much more and better all areas of my life. If I focus on the current mood I want to nurture instead of a projection, which for sure I want to transmute from a vision to a version. But this way, in the past, I made the mistake to focus on the projection in and of itself instead of the actual present, and the presence I can personify in the moment. So the mood works in the moment for me. It is a concept which reflects the moment and expands it. And this is why I like to call my board a mood board, and I keep on building it throughout the entire year. To be honest, I think I will add my 2025 board to the content of the past year, like the 2024 mood board, because there is a prosecution. It is a progression. Let's put it this way. So, looking back at my 2024 mood board, which I have here, I used Pinterest last year for the first time. I mean, here on the wall, I have a sort of, once again, vision board, mood board, which, however, is not linked to a specific year. To be honest, I've been building and changing all of the pictures and the visuals throughout maybe 4 years, and it is like a constant ongoing project. But to work with a lot of inspiration and to nurture my imagination, I think Pinterest is such a great tool, because of course it is so visual, but it also uses an aesthetic approach, which is just almost a metaphor of the reality, and this helps me to not limit myself to a specific thing or version of reality, and instead expand it through multiple aesthetics and my own imagination. And Pinterest really helps in this. At least it works for me. And so I wanted to go through it with you. And I realized that last year, it was my first time using Pinterest, and at first I really focused a lot on specific things, which, as I mentioned, is a limitation. I had a lot of content linked to college, because I was still, to be honest, I was not in college, but I still needed to graduate, and it was such a hard time for me. And I put maybe some of the pictures here on the screen, but yeah, I focused a lot on this specific goal, which, I mean, in the end, it all went great. I graduated, and it was a great experience. But I remember a year ago, my thinking was so limited by this one thing, this one specific goal. And I love how instead, going on throughout the year, throughout 2024, I was able to expand my vision or nurture my mood in multiple ways. For sure, there were some things linked to build, I would not say a schedule, because I do not do well with it, but build a routine for myself, which is what I struggled a lot. In general, it is something I really struggle with, but last year there were seasons I was completely out of, I was not able to have even the most simple routine. But by the end of the year, instead, I experimented a bit with my space, with my time, and this helped me a lot to build a routine which works for me instead of using it as, because in the past I would ended up being almost enslaved by my own routine, exploited by it. In this case, instead, by the end of 2024, I was able to use my routine as a tool for myself, to serve myself. And so I remember last year I downloaded a lot of Notion templates, but I'm so happy now, looking back, I realized I was able to build my own, for sure my own Notion templates, but also my own routine, my own schedule, which worked for me. And then I would focus a lot on relationships, because I was coming out of, years of, for sure, I have such an history of relationships. To be honest, in the specific friendships, a disastrous history of friendships, for sure, throughout my teen years. But by the end of college, I realized how I was so guarded because of the experiences in my teen years that I was not even able to open myself to other relationships and be a friend to others. So yeah, I realized how I would still ended up in the same cycles of attracting, I don't know if this is the word, like parasite type of people. Because I was I would approach relationships with the fear of abandonment, and so I would try to tie people to me, and of course these attracted parasite type of people, parasites, and so it was maybe it's still a goal, maybe I was focusing on a specific goal of, relationships, friendships, and to be honest, looking back to my mood board, I wanted also to call in a romantic relationship. And I remember, as I was in the process of it throughout the year 2024, I felt like I wasted some chances. One in particular, which I thought was the one chance, the one relationship. And I felt like I wasted it because I shared it with the wrong people, and I got caught in a negative, let's say, influence. But by the end of the year, I realized how the relationship I was praying for, I was calling it, it happened, just not in the way I thought it would, not with the specific one I, focused on for so long. Like, once I let go of that specific one relationship, I was able to create room for what was meant for me, the other relationship, which was meant for me. And so by the end of the year, I realized, wow, looking back, I realized that, wow, it did happen. Simply not in the way I thought it would, but it did. And by far, I would say, this was the greatest thing from 2024. Do not take me wrong, it was such an abundant year. So many things happened, and actually so many goals, let's say, were accomplished. Many successes, let's say, also some failures for sure, but yeah, this one thing, the fact that I was able to engage in a relationship was the best. But I love how going on, I was really able to align myself with a much wider vision, or if you will, I was able to nurture my inspiration, my imagination to overcome the limits of specific things, specific goals. And so going on through my mood board, I focused a lot on the concept of resilience through the archetype of the phoenix. which is so dear to me. It was also linked to my graduation, also to the my thesis, the thesis for my master's degree. So I was able really to focus on this concept, and for sure it came to fruition. I also got tattoos. I think I have some tattoos ideas on my board, and I was able to, you know, make the tattoos as a ritual, a passage, almost a portal to walk through in order to personify such concepts of resilience, for instance, but other ones as well. For sure, I was able to work a lot on my heritage and my lineage, and tie some loose ends around my heritage and my lineage. And this links a lot to the archetype of the serpent, which I love, because it is an archetype which runs through multiple traditions, and traditions I participate in. But at the same time, last year, as you know, for the Chinese horoscope, was the year of the dragon, and this year is the year of the serpent, and there is a specific link through these couple of archetypes, and for sure I feel so closer to both. And yeah, I did not even know at first, but yeah, throughout the year, all of these links kind of revealed to me, and it was so nourishing for my inspiration, my imagination, my mood, but also my actual approach to the world, to the way I live my life. And so, yeah, there is also a lot of art and music, maybe even in or through a decadent approach, which I learned to appreciate, and a lot of nature. For sure, this past year, I was able to connect a lot with the elements, and this is something for sure I wanna carry on through 2025, this current year. So I think this is it. Once again, as I mentioned, I'll pop some pictures from my actual board on the screen, but I do not want to go too much into details. Also, the most like random stuff, like I would pin on my board some like outfit ideas, and yeah, without even actually remembering it, it was what I ended up wearing, for instance, this past season, holiday season. So yeah, this is why I like this concept of the board and how the visuals work. It all works on a subconscious level, and then it translates into consciousness, of course, if you put intention and initiative in it. And then, yeah, I think I'm already working on my 2025 board. For sure, to be honest, there is for sure some sort of a progression from last year to this year. So, I mean, the concepts are still the same. What I love, and this is something I have heard on TikTok, I mean, on the content people share around this concept of the board, like the approach of different content creators. Instead of thinking of goals and linking your visuals to the goals, think of the board as a way to document the process. This is what I like, and this is my alignment, what I want to align with. So, yeah. As a final thing, which I want to share with you, and maybe it is also, I mean, for sure it is what I want to commit to this year, but also what I want to share with you through my channel here on YouTube, but also maybe through social media. As you know, last year I used this jar filled with Post-its. Each week I would write a note on a Post-it with like a bunch of things, like memorable things from the week, like 3-5 highlights. At times, it was hard to even come up with 3 things worth to be remembered. But other times, I would write like an entire or even multiple post-its because there was so much I wanted to remember. And it was nice at the end of the year last week to go through some like random post-its, go back and read what I wrote. It was such a great way to once again document the year, the process. This year, I want to do something different. Once again, I want to focus a bit more on the visual side of it instead of just writing and reading, which is something I, of course, still love and I always loved. But I want to try each week this year to share on Instagram maybe a carousel with the highlights, a bunch of highlights from the week. I think this is good also because as I go through my week, I can think of moments I want to document. I want to remember moments which are worth to be framed in a picture. So this also can help, at least I think it can help me to stay present. This is what I want to do. Also, I've been doing this already throughout 2024. Each week on my Instagram, on the stories, I share some of my favorite posts from other content creators on the platform, which are all about inspiration. And so yeah, if you want to check it out, it is a bit of a tradition, a little something I do at the end of each weekend. So the link to my Instagram page is always in the description. And yeah, another thing which I'm doing, gosh, I don't have my actual agenda here. Wait a second. So this is my 2025 agenda, which I think I showed you in the vlogs. And what I want to do is at the end of each day, because I usually I would use like weekly spreads on my planner. This time, for the first time, I have a day for each page, or a page for each day. So I wanna try at the end of each day to think about the day and write down for each day a bunch of things, like my favorite moment. And maybe there are some days which I can talk for hours about all of what happened and how great it was. And honestly, I know that there are days which I'm like, you know what, let's just call it a day and move on. But I also want to try to document this. So yeah, I want to try for each day to think about the best moment and write it down. To still have something to read, as I mentioned, I want to work with visuals, but also want to stay, like, I want to, yeah, stay closer to the write and read type of the testimony and documentation. And I love that there are also, like, there is this thing and you can record, for instance, the weather, how you felt, if you did some like movement activity, yeah, to track it's an habit tracker essentially, the food, the water, how much you have drunk. And as I was like going through this, and as I realized that there is this habit tracker, it got me thinking. I cannot remember the name, but there was an app to help you kind of regulate yourself if you struggle with a bipolar disorder. There was an app which I used when I got the diagnosis, and it was similar to this. Of course, it was much more detailed. It also tracked the medications, for instance, but it was so helpful. I remember I used it a lot on a summer. It was probably 2 or 3 years ago. But yeah, this is why I'm so excited to try also this habit tracker method. So this is what, once again, I want to do. Yeah, I guess this is it. This is all I wanted to share with you in this first video for the new year, all about my board. but also how I try to document each year to create a testimony for each year. So this is it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and of course share if you want your ideas in the comment section. And I guess all what I can do now is to wish you the best year, and what I try to do, and my wish for you is to approach what is to come with this mindset that the best is always yet to come, and align with this idea, to approach what is to come. So I guess I'll see you in the next video, and for sure I'll update you on the vlogs. Bye!